Hello and welcome to the theIAShub. This is Dipender Dhingra and today I am going to take you to the world of anthropology. By the means of this video session, we are going to see the simplest way to anthropology and why an aspirant needs to choose anthropology as an optional for UPSC mains. So the very first thing here is, this is the kind of optional where generally direct questions are asked. If direct questions are asked, then definitely we are easily going to cover the entire syllabus. The second thing here is, the syllabus of this optional is relatively short. So this is being said in the market that yes, the syllabus is short, but no. The beauty of anthropology optional is the syllabus is mentioned in relatively detailed manner. Each and everything is being mentioned in the syllabus, and the questions that are generally being asked in the UPSC mains anthropology are from the syllabus only. They are not going to ask you any question out of the topic which is not mentioned in the syllabus. And if we are following the right strategy as well as the right study material, we are going to ace this optional very easily. And here with me, I am going to provide you with the best quality study material from which every question will be directly asked. So majority of the questions that will be asked in the mains will be from our study material only. The third thing is, this is the optional where scoring is comparatively easy because of the scientific nature of this subject. Generally what happens, there are certain subjects in UPSC optional where humanities people do feel comfortable because majority of the analytical aspects are there. And some of the optionals are there which are relatively technical in nature. But this is the optional which is the amalgamation of both the things. This is the optional where you will see the scientific nature, and humanities students can also ace this optional. Why? Because of the paper 2 of anthropology, where generally the topics related to society, topics related to caste system are mentioned. So it is relatively easy for us to comprehend this optional. Next is the performance. If we see, which is very consistent these years, and you can see with the ranks that people have scored, and they are also belonging to the engineering background, because majority of the students do have doubt that anthropology optional contains significant portion of biology. Yes, it has a significant portion of biology, but the aspect of biology is something different here in anthropology. Because biology here is not just the evolution of human being, rather we will see the cultural aspect of the biology of human being, which is very, very interesting to understand. And after opting for this optional, you will realize this is the optional where you will bind yourself in a manner throughout these 4 months that you will be not getting bored any time of the duration where we will be together with each other. And also this will also give you the enough time to prepare for general studies. Why I am saying this? Because this optional contains the relatively more overlapping with the other general studies paper that we are going to see in this session, right? So before we move on, let's first discuss what is the syllabus or how we can classify anthropology and what we are going to do in these 4 months. The very first thing is, if we try and classify anthropology, this can be branched into 4 aspects. The very first being is the biological anthropology. So I have given you the glimpse that we are not going to see just the biology of human being. Rather, we will see the cultural aspect of the human biology. That makes this biological portion very interesting and as well as very easy to comprehend. Because when we will see the genetics, we will see the DNA, we will see the blood groups, we will be finding ourselves very much relative to the, very much relevant to the subject also. And we will see the biodiversity portion here in the biological anthropology, which will definitely help you out in the environment section of your prelims. The second aspect being is the archaeology. Archaeology considers as the prehistoric archaeology and historic archaeology whatever fossils have been found. Generally in this aspect we will see how humans have evolved. Because if I'll give you the glimpse what exactly the anthropology is, this is the study of human beings in totality. In totality means we will see how humans have evolved, and biological evolution is one of the aspect of the human evolution. Rather, how the society has evolved throughout this duration. Second thing is how our culture has evolved, how we came into being in the institutions of family, marriage, kinship, etc., etc. So we will see the evolution of human being in totality in terms of space, in terms of time. In terms of space, I mean how humans have evolved differently at different places. What are the differences between our phenotypical aspects if we are here in the tropical nation and people who are living in the polar region or in the temperate regions. So that makes this subject very holistic, very comprehensive, as well as very interesting. The third aspect here is the cultural anthropology. As I have earlier mentioned, the cultural anthropology means the culture aspect of humans, the societal aspect of humans. It will require definitely some of the analytical aspects. It is less technical but more analytical in nature. And if I'm saying we will see the culture of a species, we will see the traits, we will see how family, how marriage, how this kinship institutions have evolved in the due course of time. The next aspect is the linguistic anthropology. This is very, very interesting to know for us. The linguistic anthropology will tell us how we have evolved the language. Because if we see the entire animal kingdom, we human beings are different from the other animals because we can communicate with each other. Because of this communication, despite being we are not the powerful animals, but still we are ruling over this entire planet. And I must give you the example here. Human and tiger, if we compare, humans are not that powerful as a tiger is, but still we are protecting them. We are making plans to protect them. We are having Project Tiger, we are having Project Elephants, but we are not powerful than them. Right? How is it so? Just because of two aspects. First aspect is human knows how to live in a society. Human knows how to make groups, and in that group, human knows how to communicate with each other. With that communication, with that language, we are binding ourselves with each other. With this bindingness, we are ruling over this entire planet. So this makes this subject very interesting, very holistic, very comprehensive, and very easy to comprehend. So before we see the aspects of anthropology, we should first understand why this anthropology. Because if we are choosing an optional, we should think in a manner that there should be a significant overlap of the optional with general studies, so that we will be having more time to prepare general studies, and whatever we will be preparing here in this anthropology will help us in maximizing the marks of general studies. So let's see first. I have mentioned two things here. One, from the syllabus of anthropology, and second, the general studies paper 1. The general studies paper 1 includes the history, society and social justice, and geography. Let's see first what are the portions of society GS paper 1 which is having overlap with anthropology. First thing first, evolution of Indian culture and civilization, where we will see the Paleolithic culture, Neolithic culture, Mesolithic culture, Chalcolithic culture. So if you will read something in ancient history where students generally find difficulty to comprehend, that portion will be covered automatically here in anthropology, and it will definitely give you an extra edge. Because this is the portion of ancient history where generally students are finding difficulty to comprehend things, because there is certain things which you need to mug up. But if you are going to do these things here in anthropology, definitely it will help you out in your general studies as well as in your prelims. The second aspect is the Indus Valley civilization. As you all are aware about this thing, that if we are going on with the historical aspects, the history starts with this Indus Valley civilization only. So this Indus Valley civilization, the understanding of this Indus Valley civilization, how this civilization came into being, what was the reason behind the extinct of this Indus Valley civilization, we will see in anthropology. And it is relatively important for us to know about Indus Valley civilization in the history, GS paper 1 as well as in our prelims. The second part is the society and social justice, where significant overlap can be seen. If I'm saying significant overlap, what does it mean? Because the entire GS paper 1, the entire syllabus of GS paper 1, which is related to society and social justice, is completely mentioned in anthropology paper 2, where we will see the structure of Indian social system. We will see how this Varnashram or this Varna system came into being. What are the different theories behind it? And if we are going to understand about the Varnashram or Varna system, definitely we will have more clarity about the caste system. Because in India, you know that caste system is something which is so much prevalent and which is changing day by day. So there are certain things that we will understand here with the caste system, that if today, what is the relevance of caste, what was the relevance of caste in the past, and what would be the future of caste in India. So we will comprehensively cover caste system here, and this will give you an extra edge for the essay, as well as definitely your GS paper 1 will be automatically covered. This is automatically covered. That's what the major aspect of anthropology is. The third system we see here is the impact of industrialization, urbanization and globalization on Indian society, which is directly mentioned here in the general studies paper 1. So this is very, very important for us to know before we are choosing our optional, that if we are spending time on optional, it should give you enough time to prepare for GS as well. So if you are covering these things, definitely you need not to cover these things in your general studies, right? And the next aspect is the Sanskritization and westernization, urbanization, globalization. These all things are mentioned in GS paper 1 society section, right? But this is very much important for us to know that these days, general studies paper 1, where geography is being asked, majority of the questions nowadays are asked related to human geography as well as the economic geography. Human geography has certain theories such as Malthus theory, demographic transition theory and Marxist theory. These three theories will be covered here in anthropology in thorough detail. So you need not to go with these theories in GS paper 1 human geography. You can directly take the reference from anthropology paper 1 Malthus theory, demographic transition theory as well as the Marxist theory to understand how population is increasing, what is the transition of population and in which transitional phase India is in right now. We will understand the significance of the population aspect here with these theories, because we know that without humans this planet would have been the another planet. If we are understanding geography, which is the study of Earth, study of planet Earth, but this planet Earth is something different from the other planets just because of the aspect that here we have the presence of human beings. Here we have the presence of life. So that's make this earth different from the another planets. So इसीलिए this part of human geography becomes significant for us to understand, which will be covered here in this anthropology section. This was the overlap of GS paper 1 with anthropology. Now let's see how anthropology will help you in GS paper 2, polity, governance and IR. First of all, anthropology will talk about the tribes. It will talk about the society of tribes. It will talk about the living conditions of tribes. And also it will talk about the tribal situation in India at this present moment, where Constitution has definitely given them certain safeguards with reference to, if we talk about as far as the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes are concerned. These constitutional safeguards are mentioned under Schedule 5 and Schedule 6, as you all know, and these will be covered here in anthropology, which will definitely help you out in your general studies paper 2, Indian Constitution and Polity. And definitely it will give you an extra edge in preparing prelims also. The second aspect here is the history of administration of these tribal areas, because these tribal areas are being administered in different manner. If we talk about this administration of tribal areas from the reference of Britishers' time to the present, or from the Britishers' time to the post-independent India, there is certain difference in these tribal policies, plans, programs that government has started. So these all things are covered under GS paper 2 as well as anthropology paper 2, where we will discuss the tribal situation in India at this present moment, right? So it will definitely give you an extra edge. The next part is how it will give you the help in general studies paper 3. Because these days, if we see and if we will analyze the paper 1 of prelims, where you will see majority of the questions are being asked from environment section. And in environmental section, ecology has a very good relevance and very good significant portion from which questions are being asked these days. So in ecosystem, if we talk about, there are certain rules, that is Gauss's rules and Kopp's rule. I am giving you the glimpse of this Gauss's rule, such as if you go to the polar region, where you will find the presence of polar bear. If you will come to the tropical region, you will have the presence of elephant. But these two animals have certain distinct characteristics. What are these distinct characteristics? Polar bear, if you will closely see him, you will see the body fat is comparatively very high. Why the body fat of polar bear is high? Because the polar bear wants to retain heat so that he can survive in the polar region. Along with that, the outer limbs, such as the nose, the ears, closely see the photograph of polar bear, you will realize that this polar bear has the outer limbs which are very short, so that they cannot release heat out of the body. So that's what the evolution has occurred. And on the other hand, if we talk about the elephant, which is in the tropical region, the ears, the outer limbs are very large. Why the outer limbs are large? So that the extra heat can be released in the atmosphere very easily through the large outer limbs, large ears. This is how we can understand the evolution of animals as well as humans, and this is the relatively very important for us to know as far as ecosystem is concerned. On the other hand, the development of forest policies, the Forest Rights Act 2006, the forest plans, the forest policies we had in the past and we are running in the present, they all are mentioned in anthropology. and we need to cover this. We have to cover these policies and acts in the General Studies Paper 3, Environment and Ecosystem. So there is a considerable overlap between this anthropology and GS Paper 3. Another one, here people do find a little bit difficulty, you can say. Why? Because they are not comfortable with the biological portion which is mentioned in anthropology. But believe me, if you are not going to go with the biology, you cannot clear prelims as well. Because in prelims, science and tech both are mentioned. And in fact, there are certain questions that is being asked these days in prelims related to biology. As you can see in the previous year, there was a question that was directly related to plant cell. There is the mentioning of biotechnology, recombinant DNA technology. You all have heard about GM crops, GM mustard, BT cotton. They all are the example of recombinant DNA technology. So anyhow, we have to cover that portion in GS paper or GS paper of prelims or in the GS paper 3 of mains. So if we will cover that portion here in anthropology only, definitely it will give you an extra edge. It will spare your time to give here in the GS paper 3 of biology and biotechnology. So that's how we need to have the understanding of the art of deconstruction of syllabus. This is the art of deconstruction, where if we will closely observe the syllabus, then we realize that these are certain portions where you have an extra edge if you are opting for anthropology as an optional. Because there is a myth around us that this optional is having biological portion, scientific nature, you need to mug up the things. No, it's not like that. It is certainly not like that. If you will follow my sources, my study material, you will definitely have basically, I'm telling you, you will definitely have an extra edge over the other students to score more than 280 marks in anthropology optional. But last thing here that I want to mention here is related to essay and ethics. Because essay जो आजकल आ रहे हैं, उसमें भी बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जहां पे you need to have the perspective towards the tribal dimensions. You should have the perspective to see our society. Because here in UPSC, what we need to do is the development of our perception, development of our perspectives. If we will develop these perspectives, we will definitely crack this exam. Right. So those philosophical essays, the essays which are related to societies, essays which are related to tribal dimensions, you will have so many things to write in these essays. Why? Because if you are studying an optional for 3 to 4 months, where you are developing your entire perception towards these things only, you will have enough content to write in your mains essay portion. On the other hand, if we are writing something, we need to substantiate those things with the case studies in ethics also. So the case studies in anthropology that we will see is generally related to the case studies that we are going to have in our ethics GS paper 4. So that's how you can see, if we are going to understand the deconstruction of this syllabus, we can see clearly that there is considerable overlap. There is significant overlap between these subjects. So as far as your mains paper is concerned, specifically GS paper 1, 2, 3 and 4, this optional is going to give you really an extra edge. Now, if I have told you these things, there should be something to substantiate these. I am having certain previous year questions of anthropology where you will realize and you will not be able to demarcate the difference between these questions, whether they are from anthropology or they are from general studies. So let's see them. The very first question here is, critically discuss the origin of Indus Valley civilization. Mention the evidences of its origin from pre-Harappan sites. So can you tell me the difference here, you will not be able to recognize whether this question of Indus Valley civilization is of anthropology or this is the question of GS paper 1. So that's how we can analyze the paper and we can see what are the edges that we are going to have by opting anthropology as an optional. Right, so this is the world of anthropology. This is the scientific subject that we are going to cover in another 4 months, where we will see the entire humanistic aspects, because this is not the science of human, this is the humanistic science. Right. Second question here, let's see, discuss the impact of Forest Rights Act of 2006 on livelihood culture of tribal people in India. Here also, you cannot distinguish whether this question is of anthropology or GS paper 3. So that's how direct question is being asked. Rather, in your mains GS paper, you will see some tricky questions are being asked these days. They will definitely ask, they will not ask you the direct question, but anthropology has direct questions. They will ask you the direct questions which will give you extra marks. Now let's see the third question to substantiate whatever we have discussed in the previous slides. Delineate the constitutional safeguards for the religious minorities in India. So what I have done here in this slide is I have taken certain questions from every paper. This one is belonging to GS paper 1, this is GS paper 3, this is GS paper 2, polity and governance, and this is paper 3 where you will see the chromosomal aberrations in the form of Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome. We all read about these syndromes in our prelims perspective, in our science where we prepare for prelims. So they are, we just need to write them. That's what the difference is. The next is critically evaluate different types of social stratifications. Very direct question, social stratification has been asked. So this also belongs to the GS paper 1, the society section. Right. Next question is, write a short note on protein synthesis. Very easy to comprehend, very easy to write, where in this series of anthropology, I will tell you in the further sessions that how we need to write answers so that we can fetch more marks in anthropology, so that we can score more than at least 280 marks in anthropology. Bring out the interrelationship between population growth and development in the Indian context. So this is directly related to the geography, human geographical section, where the question is asked related to the relationship between population growth and development, and that too in the Indian context we study in human geography. So these are certain questions that I have picked which are related to the general studies, and you will realize majority of the questions are being asked in the recent years only. They are not the questions which have been asked in the 2000 and 2005 wala time. Right, so ये वो questions हैं जो 2019, 20, 18, 21 में पूछे गए हैं. So this is the recent trend that I'm going to show you here. Right, so I hope this video will help you out in clearing your myths related to the anthropology, and in the another sections we will definitely going to see the art of answer writing to ace, to maximize the marks in anthropology. Right, thank you so much.